creatively drained while doing content marketing? Hi, I'm Brian Pombo. Welcome back to Brian J. Pombo Live. It's very common, and I think it depends on how much you're doing, how often you're doing it, and how well organized the whole process is. But if you're doing content marketing on a regular basis and you go through a whole lot at once, more than you're used to, it can be draining. You could just feel like, ugh, like I did all this stuff, and you need to unwind, or you need to recharge. Different people recharge in different ways. So we talk a lot about content marketing for business owners and executives of businesses, and whoever is working on your content marketing, you got to realize, especially if they're doing it on a daily basis, they're not always going to be prime. And so you have to have things organized to be able to work around it. One thing you could do is, and there's a handful of ideas that I could come up with off the top of my head. One thing you could do is have material that's all ready to go, that is not time specific, that can be plugged in when that person is not at their prime. And so that's an availability. You have that. You also have the availability of easy topics. So if you're doing anything similar to what we do on a nightly basis here, I tend to keep a pile of books, or I have a handful of books that have so much in them that I can pick them up and just grab something randomly. I mean, here's a book. This is, I've probably shown this to you before. This is 2,548 wittiest things anybody said. And I could just grab something out of here and usually run a story out of it, or a lesson about it, or something like that, that we can tie back to what we discuss here. But I mean, there's just sometimes it's difficult. It's really difficult. And hopefully I don't show it too much here. But there are certain nights when I just got nothing. And I mean, tonight was pretty close to that. And I'm doing okay right now. But when I first started, I'm like, wow, why am I so drained? Well, I looked at my schedule. Really, since Friday on, I've been kind of on a creative dump in terms of working with different people and coming up with new ideas, and my mind has been racing ever since, probably even while I'm sleeping, in terms of contemplating all the ins and outs and possibilities. That wears on you. Eventually you get to a point to where it doesn't go anymore, and you've got to step back, step away from it. You have to consider that if you're the one producing the content. If you're not the one producing the content, you have to consider that that person is going to reach that point eventually, especially if they're doing it consistently. So I definitely recommend consistent content, but you have to watch the human element. Whoever is in charge of making it, realize that they're not always going to be on the top of their game. In fact, they all go lame at some point. Somebody's attention and creativity is going to want to go in a completely different direction than where you want them to go. So you have to keep an eye out for that, and you got to expect it. It's just part of the nature of the beast. But I've always got things that are always available, and I'm looking at producing more products as we go ahead, not just books, but I do have this one book that's a great read if you're interested in learning more about standing out in your marketplace. You can do that with content marketing, but it's good to have an idea of why and where you're going with that. That's why I made this book, 9 Ways to Amazon Proof Your Business. It's about overcoming competition by standing out. You get a free copy at AmazonProofBook.com, digital copy. I did a webinar earlier today where we handed out a bunch of physical copies. So it also has a chance for you to get a physical copy there. You could also just go and buy one off of Amazon or Barnes & Noble or anywhere else that books are sold online, especially. So we'll be back tomorrow. In the meantime, get out there and let the magic happen.